Welcome to Speak Free with Matty G, the podcast that celebrates free speech, truth, and open discussion. Hello and welcome to Speak Free with Matty G, episode 29. I'm joined here today by a good mate of mine, Braden Horswell, aka HOON.
Matty.
Mate, you know, you're killing it. You're killing it. Everyone in the Hawkesbury loves you. They love coming out and seeing you play at both Ricky Inn, the Royal. So we're going to be talking a bit about that today. Your own music that you've released, the future plans with that, and we'll also talk about Youngcalves and sort of the evolution of that. And where you guys want to take that, and some exciting plans you have coming up surrounding that sphere of things. So let's get into it. Now, we'll talk a bit about, firstly, your music. When did that decision come that you sort of decided, you know what, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to follow, like for real now as a profession?
It was probably around December last year. Sort of realised that you're only going to get to a certain level DJing other people's music, and I always had that passion or dream to one day play my own music to people, whether it be at a festival or clubs or whatever. So I just sort of bit the bullet and said, you know what, I'm going to throw some money at it, do some training and courses and see where it takes me. So this year just been really having a crack and, you know, see what happens. Yeah,
and that is interesting. Like, to me, I think education is such a important tool, and it's so readily available for whatever you want to do. But so many people don't go that route. You know what I mean? They'd rather just like stay on. You know, I'll just try out a few things, and you know, hopefully, something blows up, or I string it together. Do you think going and doing a course and that? Do you think that sort of fueled that fire in you to go on? And do you think it made you a better producer?
Oh, for sure. I mean, look, if we rewind to Christmas time last year, like I couldn't even make a complete song, you know. I'd throw together some samples and make something sort of cool, but it wasn't a full foundation and it didn't sound right. I didn't know what I was doing realistically. It's like learning a whole nother language. Threw a lot of money at it, don't get me wrong, but you just need to really just throw everything at it in order to get somewhere. And you know, realistically, what are we, 9 months into the year and, you know, already been signed to a label. So it's, you know, it's all moving quickly, but it's the effort too. So
yeah, and you've put out 2 absolute bangers, and an extended mix of one on Spotify. If anyone wants to check it out, or Apple Music or whatever.
Yeah.
But Spotify, because that's what I'm on to, so fucking hit it up. Fuck Apple. But are you further along now than what you thought you would be, say 9 months into when you decided, you know, this is what I want to do? Are you proud of where you've come?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I look back already and I have even a couple of extra sort of mashups and tracks on SoundCloud as well. And, you know, the idea was to even just have a finished track on Spotify. And I look and I've got a few more on SoundCloud, obviously legalities, you know.
Yeah.
Being mashups and things, had to put it on SoundCloud. But I look at that and then I've just finished another one this week, got a couple others that are in the pipeline, and you just sort of look back and go, man, I was just hoping to have one track finish, you know, but by summer I should have a bit of a catalogue going, which is awesome.
Yeah. Talk to me a bit about, I'm always interested when I talk to music artists or, you know, producers, is the actual, I guess, sort of from start to finish of the whole process for creating a song. How do you do it? What's your own personal sort of process in doing that?
So I used to always start with a reference track. Used to always have something to refer to that you wanted to sound like, not copy, but you know, you grasp that idea and concepts.
Yeah.
And sort of go down that direction, where I've actually sort of moved away from that because I found it limiting, because you would always be trying to sound like it.
Yeah.
And so it would halt you from just running with it. And so I would start with an idea of a style of track I want to make, and which a lot of my tracks are very like piano-y and, you know, a bit more like summer house. So,
yeah.
I'd have that idea, and then whatever happened. I'd always end up somewhere completely different, but it still always ended up good.
Yeah. And it's interesting, like for me, you know, I guess it's sort of similar in a way, is I did acting at high school, did drama, and then I went, and then did ya?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're a drama kid.
Hawkesbury High's #1.
Oh
mate.
fuck yeah, hectic. That's cool to know. I was literally the only boy in my senior years, and it sucked, man. I just wanted one other guy to like vibe with. Like I was always, you know, I was always the dad character or the fucking brother character or the fucking, you know, I just wanted someone else.
No,
like
I had a couple of boys at Hawkesbury. We did it, and we loved it.
Did-
like, between doing that,
who
and
was your
music and-
teacher?
Who did we have? We had Miss Scopoletti.
Bro, so she was, I was just, she moved to Hawkesbury, bro. I cried when she left, because she was my year 9 drama teacher, maybe, or maybe she was my year 8 English teacher, but you know how they used to do like English and drama together?
Yep.
So she made me want to do drama in years 9 and 10. She was like, you're fucking good, man. Like you should do this. And then she told me she was leaving at like the end of year 8. And I was like, fucking spewing, bro. Because she's super talented, man.
She's a weapon, man. And she was, you know, and being a bit younger too, she related to us very well. And so we actually, I feel like, you know, in high school, you normally don't give a shit, you know. We actually sort of respected her a lot and really sort of tried hard for her as well. You know? Yeah, she's cool, man. I really missed her when she left. She was, probably one of the coolest teachers I had. We actually fucking hated each other when she first came, because she tried to, like, as a young teacher, like, you know, young, especially female teacher, she was a bit of a hard cunt, like, when she first started, like, and I was like, but then once you crack through that, and I used to think, fuck, she's a bitch, bro, like, but then once we got to know each other, we're like, fuck, vibing, and then she left. But I had Clarky, Mr. Clark, for a shout out, for like years 9 till 12, all the way through. So me and him became super close, and he like really encouraged me to, you know, take a risk and do the Wolf of Wall Street, knowing full well it might be too vulgar to get a good mark in the HSC, but it was my passion and just fucking do it anyway. But one thing I noticed a difference from doing that, I'd seen the Wolf of Wall Street, so I feel like it's developed more now, but I think at the time I was very Leonardo DiCaprio, very like, be like Leo. And then when I went to NIDA, I would get a script and I would know what it's from, never seen it, and I would choose not to watch it. Just do not watch it. I don't want to know what these characters sound like, look like, like how they walk, how they talk, nothing, you know. And, you know, you would get so much more out of it. And I feel like that's sort of similar to, you know, your music, rather, you know, to not have that reference track and to just play around with sounds and beats and that and create something completely unique to you. That's it. And just allowing yourself to run with it all the time. You'll get somewhere a lot quicker. If you're trying to always sound like this or that, or, you know, or make the exact same as the popular song.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Scaring me. If you're always trying to sound like, you know, the #1 hit at the time, you'll never get anywhere. You're just going to keep starting. Yeah,
and you know, do you think a lot of the music industry does that too often, where they do try and say copy something that's blown up, or you know, because I hear a lot of songs, like, I don't listen to the radio much, but when I do, I'm like, fuck me, man, they're all the same. They're about the same themes, about the same fucking, you know, if there's like if it's summer, it's always going to be like a fucking like summer track, like, and fucked up, which is cool, but like, I just feel like, music, a lot of music that gets played on the radio more so than just like music. I think like everyone has their own sort of sound that they love, and that's what's so good about Spotify and streaming services.
Sure.
But if you listen to the radio, you're like, fuck, man, I swear I've already heard this song, but it's a different song from a different artist that's about the same fucking shit.
Oh, look, you notice trends even in like dance music too. You know, you have a lot of people now remaking all the 90s hip hop classics or R&B classics, but then making it into like a Madhouse track. Yeah. And that's sick as well. But yeah, that is definitely a pattern in a market, but everyone seems to love it because they can relate to the song.
Exactly. And it's a good sing-along, I guess, too. You can easily move to it on the D floor. Yeah. I think that's what's important to me as a listener. Not saying I'm fucking anywhere. I'm no one to judge someone's music. But for me, on a personal level, what I love when I go to a club is something that literally just makes me want to move. You know what I mean? Like Like, not something it's like, oh, fucking, that's dope, bro. It's something that actually wants me to get up and move. And like, we used to play your shit on the radio, me and Banjo. And bro, when your shit would come on, I'm not even kidding you, I would be like, fuck yes, come. This is hectic, you know? And that's how you know you're talented, bro, because, you know, I don't do that for much.
Well, that's the idea, you know. The idea is if you play it somewhere, and I'm actually, you know, like, after the track I've just finished, it's another sort of summer piano-y vibe. My next ones are going to be a bit more club-based. Like, I want to focus on stuff that I'll play out, because that is something I struggle with these tracks I'm making, is, especially out here, trying to play them, unless, you know, in summertime it'll be awesome. I can play it like of an Arvo, but it's not that full dance floor heater. Yeah. It's something that you would listen to on Spotify in your car as well. I'm trying to tap into, like, those multiple markets, and I actually enjoy that style. But yeah, I think that's why for the next ones I will focus a bit more on, you know, club-ready tracks that I can play at the Ricky. Or I can play at a club in the city.
And it's cool to have that diversity too as an artist, you know.
Sure.
Yeah.
You don't want to just make the same. Because you're just...
I must say there is nothing I hate more than being so excited for an artist I love's album and then listening to their album and going, oh, fuck. Is this one track? Like, they all sound the same.
It's all the same, yeah.
And which is, you know, if that's what they're set out to do, cool. If they didn't set out to do that, probably not cool.
Yeah. Look, you got to have your sound. I agree. People need to be able to relate to you, but then again, you also need to be able to diversify. Like, you look at someone like John Summit.
Yeah,
he perfectly can nail like the Defected Records style, but then also has his like sort of mainstreamy remixes or, you know, originals. And I know that's because of just who he is. He's allowed to do all that, and it will just get signed regardless. But, you know, that should still be the theory for a lot of people. Yeah.
One person who I really fuck with, who I think is like, has a very unique, you can tell straight away it's their song, even if you hadn't heard it before, but he's still very different in terms of like genres they implement into the music, is Hayden James for me.
Yeah,
like sure. I think he's do a
lot.
He can do so much, man.
A lot of markets.
It's honestly one of the best sets I've ever seen in my life was him at Splendor in 2019.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah. How sick was it, man? And he had like all the original artists to like come out, and
he can play a lot of like live and sort of your flumey like future beat style, but then he also has his house side as well.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. Tap into everything, man.
Who's like an inspiration for you? Maybe not even just with like your own music, but just as an artist, as a person, probably that you sort of look up to.
I say probably Dom Dollar, obviously, for all us Aussies, because he was sort of trying to get to where he was actually a lot earlier, and he sort of then took a bit of a breather from music and that, and then he just come back swinging, and now look at him. He hasn't been home in probably a year because he's just been between touring Europe and America.
Yeah.
And he's just flat stick.
It's crazy, eh?
He doesn't even need to own a house anymore. He's just
that would be nice. I mean, I don't own a house, but it's not my fucking choice.
Yeah, but like, I think for him, like, he's definitely an inspiration because he also hasn't lost himself either. Like, you know, I mean, we only know him through social media, but he always seems quite genuine and pretty normal, but then he's just, you know, comes out with awesome music.
I feel like What's So Not's quite like that too. Like he
they're
literally
all pretty humble.
In the fucking mud, like Splendor in the mud. Were you at Splendor this year?
No, I had a ticket and then I didn't go. I had a lot of stuff coming up, obviously.
Were you happy with that decision to not go once you saw how it was?
And then by the end of the weekend, I was like, ooh. I've seen a lot of my mates running some campsite parties and stuff. And you know.
I know. I saw a few of your mates there actually. Yeah. It was when I first got there, I was like, fuck, man, like, oh, this is going to be a fucking long weekend day. This is going to take it out of me. I can feel this one. And it did take it out of me.
5 days.
Yeah, it did take it out of me. But man, afterwards, like I remember on the Friday when it got cancelled, and so many people who either like sold their ticket or were going to come and were messaging me being like, suck shit, bro. Like, so glad I didn't come. And I'm like, I was thinking, fuck you, Zay. Because at the time I thought, fuck, they might cancel this whole thing.
Yep.
And then after it went ahead, and like by the end of it, I was like, you know what? Suck fucking shit to everyone who didn't come. I'm so glad I came here and had a mad time. Like, And it was just like, by the end of it, I was like, there's not enough mud. Fucking give me more, cunt. Like,
made the most of it,
yeah, and that's what you got to do in those moments, eh? But yeah, back to What So Not. He literally, because he's like, I think his set got cancelled. It was on the Friday.
Yep.
So he's like, any fucking campsite parties, let's go. And he did. He played a full set in the campsite.
Yeah.
Like,
well, he
crazy.
actually was talking to Jack Ferris and Ben Coombs and that.
Oh, really?
He was actually meant to play at their
campsite because they decks and that. Hey,
but then they decided they had ecstasy, so they just went, nah, don't worry about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we've got ecstasy.
Fuck, man. Because even, you know what? Even when he first put that on social media, I even said to my, like, the friends I was with, I was like, oh, my mate Coombsy has, like, he brought his decks and shit. I reckon he'll play there.
Yeah.
And then, like, I never saw anything, so I was like, oh, he must have did anything.
Yeah,
with them.
they ended up just all deciding, like, we really want to see these acts.
Yeah.
Let's just do that. So
I mean, that's fair enough. They paid. I guess they paid for it. But
well, that's it. And after having the Friday can, they're like, man, let's just get in there.
Yeah, I was spewing about a few artists I saw, but you know, it is what it is. I fucking made the most of it. To be honest, I was that off my head. I don't even fucking know. I would have been at Gorillas going fucking sweet. But I guess I want to talk to you a bit about performing. Now, actually, this is interesting to me. I always sort of want to know from sort of every music artist's point of view, what do you prefer? Like, what do you enjoy most? Is it producing, like actually making the beats, or is it out there performing on the decks?
Performing for sure.
Yeah.
But, you know, I love making music, but also I still have a full-time job. I'm still doing uni online and stuff as well. So making the music actually becomes a bit hard sometimes.
Yeah.
Even though you want to do it, it's hard time-wise.
Yeah.
But then playing is like, obviously, you're not worried about a thing. You're just
you're in the
having
moment.
a good time, and it's just, there it is. Awesome. The feeling's awesome, you know?
Yeah. I think that's what's so cool about performing. You know, for me, it's probably been like, you know, drama and then the radio and then here. Is in those moments when you're fucking on, you know, whether it's you're on the decks or you fucking got a microphone in your hand or you're on the guitar fucking ripping up.
Yeah.
Whatever it may be, your vice, it's like in that moment, nothing else matters. You know, you are totally 100% living in the moment. And I think it's just like, it's no other feeling on earth than that. Hey,
that's it. Look, if I could DJ for a career, I would, and I might. You never know, but
you will.
You know,
you will.
That's it.
Fucking oath, you will.
Be optimistic about
100%. Put it out there, brother.
Yeah, but no, playing for sure is awesome. It's an awesome feeling, and everyone's always usually out there, sort of high. You know, everyone's feeling good, or you know,
or literally high.
Literally, yeah. You know, they're like, because they're out to have a good time. So
yeah,
you know, you almost catch everyone at their best self.
Yeah. So. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's true. Actually, like for you, especially for DJs, you are seeing people in their absolute like height element, you know, of happiness. You know,
they're in the zone. They're not worried about a thing either.
Yeah.
They're on their night out, and just, no worries. They're going for it. So
and they give you that energy, and it's probably pretty easy to give it back.
Off each other, you know, and it just like obviously, you know, like give it a couple of weeks ago at the Richmond Inn, we had like 700 people crammed in that beer garden. You know, it's just.
And do you prefer to perform at places in the Hawkesbury where you sort of know everyone, or are you sort of looking more towards getting out there more, hitting the city, hitting places like Manly and, you know?
Yep. Oh, it's definitely changing. We're looking for the next thing now. I feel like we've made our imprint. And, you know, we've actually had some conversations this week about, you know, working with new people to move forward. Still sort of with the alliance of the Richmond Inn. So Nick, the owner, sort of put us into contact with some other people to move in a city. Along with, you know, we've been playing at Label a bit down in Manly. We've got another one coming up there on the long weekend as well.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So, day after listening out, we'll see how that all goes.
Oh, really? Yeah. On the Sunday, is Sunday. It? Oh, grand final day.
Sunday sesh.
Grand final day. You better hope Panthers aren't in.
But yeah, like, so between that, we've got that happening. We've got some other stuff with another bloke as well. So we're just trying to, I think progress the next step. We're still going to try and do like a quarterly party in Richmond because we love playing out there. We know everyone. It's always a good time. It just goes wild, you know.
I feel like if it is few and far between, it's just like it's going to be such a special moment each time. You know,
that's it. You need to like amp it up, and people need to keep excited for them. You know, if we did them every weekend, it would fizzle. You know? And we've seen it happen a lot with some other pubs and that over the years that have promised us this, and then, you know, it just fizzles because they get greedy or they don't understand. Yeah.
And the thing is, that's what you need. You can't be, I feel like you can't be too in people's face, because it's just human nature to go, been there, seen that, you know? Yeah. And if it's that build up, it's same with Matt. Matt's been on here. I mean, you just played with Matt. You've played with Matt a few times, you know, for MCE, and his events, both of them have worked so well because they've been, the first one, obviously, it's that first one, you know, it's that fucking...
Yeah, yep.
And then he waited a good amount of time between that and the LO99 fucking one last weekend. And that fucking went off, bro. Like, I was on the door, bro. I was like, fuck, bro, I can't keep up. I felt like I was back at fucking Claro Tab, fucking rush hour, dinner rush, bro, on the fucking till. I was like, Jesus, fucking hold up, cunts. I'll get your wristband, brother. Just give me a fucking minute. But yeah, that was awesome. And like that... You know, it works like that because you're not giving people too much. You're allowing people to build up that hype for it and come out there and fucking, you know, and then once it's on, it's like, fuck yeah, everyone's there.
Like, not everyone wants to be out every weekend. You know, there are a lot of people that you do see out every weekend.
Unfortunately, I still am.
Yeah, well, look, I'm around out a lot of the weekends too. But the grand scheme of things, people might come out once to twice a month for a crack. So if we wait those few months and do one, you want people to go, oh yeah, I went to this one, you need to go to this next one.
Yes.
And that's sort of going to be our next like running thing, I guess, with Youngcalves, is moving in a city, but we'll do a lot of takeovers. We're gonna start sort of pushing a brand and a party. It's not going to be focused on other headliners as such, like we've started to do out here. We've decided that people come because they want to come. Yeah. They're not coming for the particular headliners we're dealing with anyway, even though we froth them and they're unreal. Yeah. We've sort of realized people are just coming because they know it's going to be a good time. Yes. So that's why we're sort of going to take that plunge and try and create our own brand and party. Like, you look at all the Need to Freak events, Little Fritter and that going wild at the moment. And man, I think that's a great idea. We will talk about Youngcalves now. Obviously, tell me about the start of that. How did Youngcalves start, and what did it originally start as? So it actually started, there was basically Adam Spence and a bloke called Dwayne, and it all started from Step Brothers. They got sort of that, the old bull Youngcalves scenario. Yeah. And it just rolled on as a bit of a joke. The page started, it was just a bit of like a funniest home videos, like a bit of a mashup of just our groups being idiots really on the weekend. Yeah. So it snowballed into a bit of like a brown cardigan scenario, to the point where, just random people sending videos of dumb stuff that has happened because, half our group all grew old or stopped being silly, which is good. Or got a missus or fucking... Yeah. So moved on from just being idiots every weekend. Yeah. But, and then we sort of then met the Chumba boys a couple of years ago at Chinese Laundry. And, Spence had been talking to them a little bit about thinking about running a show or doing something with them, because we were already DJing at that point, had that scenario where we thought we want to do something. Yeah. And that's when they also actually gave us the sort of guidance and idea to use this platform for our music. We all wanted to be DJs, but obviously it's a social game these days. Yeah. So they said, look at the the following you've got. You can tap into almost 40,000 people. Start running events through that. Yeah. That's how you guys will lift. And that's such, that is such a fucking genius idea. It really is, because it did have a big following as what it was. And to be honest, like, I don't know, there's something that, I don't know if I'm just talking shit right now, but there's something exciting about the fact that it's like, you're a group, but you're also individuals. It's just like, think of like some of the biggest acts in history, right? You'd look at like fucking One Direction and fucking Backstreet Boys and Spice Girls and like these people, but you haven't really seen it on like a sort of DJ level to that extent, you know?
unless they're like a duo or whatever the fuck. But like that, having that individuality in that group sort of form. And I just think that's such a fucking wicked idea, man. Like as Youngcalves, and then, you know, and it allows you to do Youngcalves events so like all everywhere. You could literally do 2 at once because, you know, you've got multiple DJs.
Yeah.
Probably do fucking 3 at once, cunt. Like,
Whatever.
but yeah, I just think that's such a, once I saw like the development of it and that, you know, through social media, I was like, that is fucking genius. I honestly do. I really think it's genius. Like, and I think it'll just keep getting bigger, man. Like that's
like, why not? You know, if you've got a following sitting there, why not?
And, use that shit.
That's it. And we're just trying, like, we're all just trying to, you know, push each other, and we support each other doing whatever. It's like with our individual scenarios, you know. Like, like I obviously want myself to blow up with my music and that. Yeah. But then as a group, we're also still all lifting as well. So, you know, it's a pretty good scenario. You know, I feel like we're all just supportive of each other, and this is a way for us to all play together and just have some fun as well, you know?
Yeah. And do you think, like, say fucking 5 years down the track, playing festivals as HOON, do you think you would still be, like, Youngcalves would still be Youngcalves?
Yeah.
In 5 years' time?
Look, it's always going to be sort of like our home base, isn't it? It's always going to be something that got us to almost where we are, you know?
Yeah.
So we're always going to have that sort of connection to it, and you know, it's like anything. It's like rocking up to a house party for your mate's birthday and jumping on the decks. It's still got that, like, you still get that excitement out of it.
Yeah,
just that enjoyment, you know, and just. So I think we'll always like being back together for things like that.
And I think people vibe with that too. They vibe with that sort of off the cuff sort of. It's almost like, I mean, even you go to Ricky, you know, and you see how you guys, your mates would get up there who, you know, aren't DJs per se. They'll get up there and they'll have a spin on the decks, and people fucking love that shit, man. They love that shit because it's just so like, it feels homely, you know what I mean? And I think having that vibe, which you guys do, you really do have that vibe. I think that just, it's just, to me, that's marketing fucking genius right there. Because I think
that's what we're aiming for. We want to create parties where you almost feel like you are a part of the team as well.
Yeah.
You know, everyone serves a purpose by being there, and, you know, everyone wants that sense of belonging. And, you know, like the last time at the Richmond Inn, we had Riley Simmons jump on the deck.
Yeah.
So threw him on, like, never DJ'd at a place before. He's only just started learning, realistically.
Yeah.
But why not? Who cares? It's Richmond. We know everyone.
Yeah.
Like, just stuff like that where people go, that was sick, like, you know, just different.
Yeah.
You know?
And to me, I think, you know, when I go to a show, it's those sort of, and it can be any show, no matter what, you know, if I see something that goes exactly how it's meant to fucking go, I'm just like, okay, cool, bro. We're fucking seeing a very rehearsed fucking show here. Yeah. Whereas you guys, it's a bit more off the cuff. It's a bit more messy in a way, which I like, you know. I love when shit's like, very raw. Yes, I love that sort of shit, and I think most people do. You know, they feel like they've experienced something. You know, they've witnessed something. It was almost like I went to Kid Leroy, right, and I went to his first show, which was really cool. I met him and shit, but then the second night he brought out 1-4, and I just remember going, fuck, man, like, because it's an unplanned thing, it's a once-off thing, and it's like, fuck, you that missing out feeling, you know. It's like, oh fuck, man, why did I go the first night? That would have been so good to be there the second night. And I think to create those moments where it's like people look at that and go, fuck yeah, I was there, bro. I was fucking there. That was red hot. Yeah.
Well, I think that's what we sort of walk away from most of our events. Like, you know, we sort of, and a lot of our music, we play what we want as well. Like, a lot of the time I know there is the stigma of, you know, building the energy over the course of the night. And we sort of thrown that out the window and sort of just rewritten our own rules.
Yeah. And
we ought to come in and just play what we want to play. And it's like, if you're not as high tempo as me or whatever, sweet, do what you want.
Yeah.
You know, and I think people actually react to that really well. And people walk away and we actually play a lot of music we know they haven't heard, as well as stuff they have for sure. But we try to almost like enlighten people to
what you're into.
Here's what's out there, and here's like here's
Yeah.
our stuff, you know.
Well, I guess it is showing a representation of you as a not just an artist but a person, you know. So
Yeah.
if people don't fuck with that, then they probably don't fuck with you, you know, and that's cool. Like,
That's fine. You know?
Now we will talk about some exciting news that you have coming up with Youngcalves. So you're going to Fiji.
Yep. Yes, we are.
Yeah, December
16th.
Tell me about that. How did that come about? And tell me about the event and whatnot.
You'll actually love this scenario. Is the guy that sort of has put us onto it, that runs all the Sounds Like events and actually put us on for the Lude show at the Roundhouse, is essentially in charge of Your Paradise. And he's seen a story of Joel Tinker, our photographer, shout out, my man. And it was us at Tully Murphy's 21st birthday.
Oh, really?
The Bart and Lisa Simpson party.
Yeah, mad.
We went all out. We had bloody, you know, all these CO2 cannons. We had a big bloody, like 3 meter tall screen behind us. Like,
when I rocked up there, bro, I was like, this is fucking dope, eh? Like, it was a mad vibe,
going
man.
Crazy, and then this big open shed. So he actually seen a video of that and all these Barts and Lisas and just went, what is this? What's happening? Like, who are they?
Yeah.
And so that's when it essentially started. Spence went to a meeting and here we are.
Yeah.
Your Paradise.
Man, that's so fucking cool, eh? And is it going to be like on a beach there? Like, what's the setup?
It's actually it's Mamanuca Island. It's
right,
actually the whole island. So
fuck, that is so dope, eh? I
really
wish
festival that actually happens.
I really wish I was coming, but I just cannot get leave off that that time. But
it's cool. So we have like beach parties, like pool parties, boat parties, everything. And so essentially we'll do some Youngcalves takeovers, you know, throughout different scenarios on different days.
Yeah.
And it'll just be cool to like meet a lot of those artists on intimate levels, you know.
Well, and I think that's what's so cool about something like that is that there's so many artists, you know, and it's the same for a lot of artists just starting out. They go to these, you know, whether it be fucking playing at 12 a.m. on a little stage at Splendor, but the amount of people that would meet there, and you know, or Lost Paradise or fucking and just that networking. I mean, I think that's so important in every industry, but especially the arts industry. Having that networking.
You know.
It is.
It really is. Like,
yeah.
Unfortunately, but it is. Which is when you can.
Yeah, you can be the most talented person in the world, but if you're not going out there and fucking putting yourself out there and meeting people, you're gonna go fucking nowhere.
And so that's, I guess, why we're super excited for this, because it's so intimate. There's only 700 people going, and they're on this one island. You know, people end up just back-to-back sets, and you know, you might be standing next to a headliner DJing on a beach, like.
Yeah.
So I think the scenario or the chances of actually talking and
much higher,
showing music, or you know, showing who we are, then you know, we've got a good chance of being able to sort of then progress from that again.
Yeah. And plus you'll get some wicked videography and shit there too. That'll be fucking dope. Like the socials will be poppin'.
That's it.
But yeah, so is that sort of where you want to talking, say, 5 years from now, what do you envision for yourself? Like when you close your eyes and you think about fucking your music and that, what do you really fucking see, you know?
5 years from now, honestly, ideally you'd be booked for major festivals, and you wouldn't be just in Australia, would you? You know, like the idea is you'd be getting booked in the US or getting booked in
Coachella
Europe or whatever, but, you know, or even like European summer, whatever. But you know, that's like a very high benchmark, because there's a lot of people trying to do it.
It is, but I think, and I mean this sincerely, I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass. I think you guys have that leg up because you are. And I'm not saying you can't do it yourself, like Hoon, you know, but I think as Youngcalves, as that brand, it's such a great brand, you know, and I think honestly, I could see, you know, I really can see that happening for you guys, like playing over in fucking Europe summer and fucking, you know, Mykonos or in fucking wherever it may be.
Yeah.
But I think people will become sort of, you know, synonymous with that Youngcalves sort of brand.
It. It's like we're sort of now going to go down the avenue of creating the party, you know, creating the experience. You know, you want to walk away from it going, man, that party was sick. You can't get that just at your standard club. You know, even if we are taking over a club, you want it to be a night where you go, shit, they're going to this one next.
Where it's not just like, oh, I went to, fucking Chinese Laundry and saw this person play.
Correct.
It's like, no, I went to a Youngcalves event. Exactly. Like, it's an experience.
You want to walk out of that going, like, yeah, that was awesome. That's sort of,
where's the next one?
That's it.
I'll be there. Yeah.
That's it.
No, that's really cool, man. And do you ever find it to be a struggle sort of separating, I guess they go hand in hand, but do you ever find it a struggle to separate your sort of focus, or when you think of the future, your aspirations, to separate HOON from Youngcalves?
I think I have like a clear sort of separation anyway, just due to, one's making music and it's developing my own identity, my own personal self, as an artist, whereas when we're DJing as a group, like, a lot of the time we're put on flyers as Youngcalves DJs.
Yeah.
So it sort of really just goes, group scenario, we're DJing. Whereas this, I think once I start to get booked as HOON, that's when it'll probably seem a bit more surreal. Like it'll sort of then change direction and, because I'll be getting booked for my music. Yeah. And that's honestly, that's the goal. That's the idea, would be to, have people coming to an event to watch me because of my music. Yeah. That's the ideal scenario. But to separate the two is quite easy because, as I said, we're going to try and create like a party and an experience. And the other one is sort of that scenario of come watch me at a club because you like my music.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's cool, man. That's interesting too. To look at it that way because, when I have a lot of things going on at once, say if it was, that's why I dropped the radio, because it was like, I need to focus on the fucking podcast. Like, this is my thing now. Yep. And doing both, I was like, fuck, man. Like, it's like about, on the radio, you got to tone it down. And it's like, that's not fucking me, bro. Like, I fucking swear like a trooper, bro. I fucking say cunt so many times. I'm like, I can do that on here. I loved it. Don't get me wrong. I loved it. But for me, it just became sort of, there's other factors that in play as well. But for me, it became an issue of like, what do I want to get out of this? Do I want to be a radio host or do I want to be a fucking podcaster? And it's like, yes, they're very similar to each other, but this is what I want. I want to talk to people. I want to get to know people. So yeah, but it's cool for you that you can do both at once because they are similar, but they're still sort of, you have clear distinction of what both are, I guess.
Correct. Yeah, they work hand in hand, but I sort of know my place and my role in both.
Yeah.
And and like the Youngcalves scenario is just a way for us to be able to play what we want because it's our own party. Yeah. And that's what we really want out of it is musical freedom. A lot of the time people are playing at a club and, they just because they want to play or they want to play at a club, but they're getting told what to play. Yeah. And they're getting controlled in that sense. And, we've already actually spoken to a guy about stuff at the Greenwood, but then we shortly realised it's sort of like Greenwood Thursdays are very sort of pop related or top 40 related and scenarios. And
so you'd have to play
that.
So
he's actually already instructed us maybe don't, because he already knows what we're like. Yeah. So, and that's what I said. I said, yeah, good. We know what we want to play, and this is us.
And and that's cool, man, because a lot of people will, I guess it's not, I don't want to go too far and say it's selling yourself out, but people do, I guess, become sellouts to get that fucking $400 or that $500, to do something that they don't, it's not really what they want to do.
That's
and
not them,
you can use it to your advantage, don't get me wrong. I love studying, like, music artists to me is just so interesting. Like, I love getting into the nitty gritty. Like, I watch so many documentaries on musicians and shit, like their own documentaries where you see a different vibe. And one of the artists that I think is so fucking interesting and so good at marketing herself when she first started was Lady Gaga. We were talking a bit about it before before we jumped on here. But she came in and she was that pop chick, she was a bit edgy, but she was very pop, and then she wrote, like, she was fucking huge, when she first, she's still big now, but because she had that popularity and the people behind her and she met all the people in the industry and she had the respect, then she started making music she really wanted to do. She did a jazz album. She did then, the Joanne Moore country album. And I think, she used that to her advantage. But a lot of people do, you know, whether it's owned by their label or or they just say yes to too many things.
For sure.
They become they forget who they are as not just an artist, but sort of a person too, I think.
Well, it sort of comes down to, like, even this year, I made the call to stop doing, you know, the average house party and stuff. Because I sort of thought, if I'm trying to create this, you know, artist and this, you know, scenario and this following and this demand, you know, why do that if I'm then going to be at someone's bloody 18th birthday on a Saturday night? You can just go watch me there.
Yeah.
You know, I need to create that demand to be like, well, if we want to see him, we have to go to this venue, or we have to go to this event.
Yeah.
So that's when it just said, righto, it's not just me being 17 trying to play for fuel anymore. You know,
Yeah.
It's sort of let's try and, like, have a serious go and see what happens.
Yeah, no, I really respect that. That's that's cool, because I guess, you know, if you're still doing 18th and 21st and shit, people are going to go, oh, I can just book him for a private event. That's, you know,
it.
Like,
exactly. And then, like, it's no hard.
You know, you wouldn't ring up fucking Ed Sheeran and be like, oi, bro, you reckon you can fucking come play at me 21st birthday?
That's
like, come see me, like, nah, come see me in ANZ Stadium, brother. Like,
yeah, like, don't get me wrong, love playing a house party if it's like a close friend or something, but, you know, I think going to the days where I can just get booked like that, I was sort of, you know, when I moved down that different path where it's like, no, well, you have to come to my event, or I'm playing at this club, see me there.
Yeah.
You know,
and then plus you're also dealing with people of age. I think, like, if people keep doing house parties, it's 17-year-olds watching them, and it's like, you know, and they're not going to then come spend money at the fucking Ricky, are they? And or the Royal, or at fucking Manly, or wherever the fuck you're playing, you know. So no, that's cool, and also it gives you more time to really work on your craft, you know.
Yeah, that's it, and just work on big things, and as you said, like, all those big events that people want to look forward to. So and it's not just like, oh, well, we can see him here or here, you know. Yeah, sometimes oversaturation is not always good. That's it. You become just the regular norm. It's the same thing with me with, like, the Richmond Inn. We made the call again to not be there so often, you know, and not just play there on a standard Saturday, unless obviously we have a friend's birthday or we want to go and just, like, have a crack, whatever.
Yeah, but to do a proper...
Yeah, we just decided, you know, I don't want to be that guy where you're just in Richmond every Saturday night and, you know, people will just come in and go, oh, yep, he's over in the corner again. You know, you need to create the demand, and you need people to, as you said, they need to look forward to it. And sweet, they're playing, it's going to be good. Yeah.
No, awesome. Well, we'll probably wrap it up there, I reckon. But yeah, no, fucking very cool insight, man. You're, no, you gave me a very cool insight. I will leave you with one final question. What do you hope to get out of, say, the next 12 months? What are some, like, you don't have to have huge goals, but just some set goals you've set for yourself that you think are achievable and want to achieve?
I'd say, obviously, want a couple more releases, signed releases. So obviously, like, sending around, you know, someone taking it on board, taking me on board. If I can get even another 2 under my belt, signed to labels, you know, within even the next 6 to 8 months, mate, we're on fire, you know, because then from there, I feel like I will be starting to speak for myself. I'll have a bit of, you know, either a following or a catalog on Spotify to go, here you go, check me out. You know, because as good as SoundCloud is, I still think, you know, you don't get the same amount of following.
And there's probably a stigma behind SoundCloud, I think, compared to Spotify.
Spotify's so readily available to everyone these days. Like, everyone of all age groups. And
I think you're taken a bit more seriously once you're a Spotify verified artist. I think, like, as much as it's all just mumbo jumbo, like, in reality.
Yep.
I think to anyone, if you go, oh, my music's just on SoundCloud, bro, it's like, you know, no one's going to take you as seriously as go, I have 3 songs out on fucking Spotify right 100%. Now. Check it out.
And then even then moving forward, I feel like, you know, obviously as a label, they will then, first thing they're going to do is look at your Spotify. Yeah. If you then have a few that are signed by other labels they know and recognize and respect as well, it just snowballs. You keep just moving. Yeah. You know, so...
Well, let's hope it keeps snowballing for you.
See where we end up. So.
And we'll see you at fucking Coachella one day, brother.
Man, that's it, Tomorrowland, baby.
Yeah. Fuck, bro, I would love to go to Tomorrowland,
next year. It's on.
Are you going next year?
It's on.
Frothing. Fuck, I might come join you. fuck, I'll win the lotto first and then I'll come
That's it,
and get
that's
really fucked up.
Very good.
Yeah, I'd probably die over there, to be honest, knowing me and my
Gonna be a struggle.
addictive personality. Or I'll just end up living there and going, fuck, coming home.
Never coming home.
Yeah.
I might do the same, to be honest.
Might just lose my brain there and be like, fuck, bro.
Stay
Can't
there
even move,
forever.
lad. Can't even move. Well, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
And yeah, cool insight. You're welcome anytime, man. And also, any Youngcalves DJs, fucking always welcome. Seats always open for you guys.
Boys. Get them on.
Fucking oath. We'll have Spence on next for sure. I'm gonna shoot him a message as soon as we're off here.
Get him in, grill him. Let's go.
Yeah. Easy, guys. And remember, speak free with Matty G.